On this edition of Fulton at Work, getting the chance to start a new life, we'll show you the positive impact the Fulton County Felony Adult Drug Court has on felony offenders addicted to drugs and alcohol. And you'll hear from a graduate who's turned his life around with the help of the program. I'm Jolene Butts Freeman. All this and more is coming up on Fulton at Work. Stay with us. Welcome to Fulton at Work. I'm Jolene Butts Freeman. Drugs and alcohol abuse has ruined countless lives and marriages, as well as put many behind bars. But thankfully, there's a program here in Fulton County that's giving these abusers a second chance. Here's FGTV's Dante Carter with more.
4 times a year, Superior Court holds a graduation ceremony to honor those who have completed the Adult Drug Treatment Court program. Lasting 18 months, it involves the district attorney's office, public defender, probation, and treatment and community groups. It's accountability alternative to going behind bars.
It gives offenders whose primary issue is drug addiction an opportunity to seek help in order to break the cycle that they've been in, recidivism. They get out, they use, they commit a crime, and they're back in again. And this is an effort to break that cycle. It's a commitment on their part, but instead of just trying to warehouse a problem that doesn't fix itself while someone's in custody, it goes to the root problem, which is the addiction.
Once completed, their charges are either dismissed or they're placed on probation and may avoid jail time altogether. At the recent winter graduation ceremony, friends and family gathered in the assembly hall to watch these 9 graduates receive their graduation medals, and though they may have been all smiles, getting to this point was no easy task.
Just perseverance, staying on the right track, not swinging any other way, just staying focused on what you need to do, following the rules, first of all, not really trying to bend the rules to try to make it your own program, and just pretty much just looking for the destination.
And for the offender and the community, it's programs like this that benefit everyone involved.
The bread and butter and the daily, because these folks come to drug court 5 days a week. Oh, wow. It's the case managers and the clinicians. Mm-hmm. They provide the structure and the counseling and the curriculum that equips the clients to deal with and combat and prevail against their addiction.
I would recommend the program if you're actually trying to change your life. I was a little hesitant at first, but definitely once I went along with the program, I learned a lot about myself, and it changed a lot about me.
Thank you, Dante. Now, joining us to talk more about felony drug court is Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney. Judge McBurney, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Now, how and why did the idea for the Fulton County Felony Drug Court come about?
We've had a diversionary program in Fulton County for decades. What has evolved is the breadth and the depth of the treatment. What judges began to realize is that some of the same folks were cycling through our courtrooms again and again. Why do we keep seeing this guy who's breaking into cars, who's breaking into houses? And what we realized is that these were people suffering from addiction, and locking them up in prison for a year or 2 didn't fix the problem. The problem wasn't that they were inherently criminal, it's that they were addicted to some drug, and the only way they could feed that habit was by breaking into your car, breaking into my house. And we began to try to treat the problem and divert these folks into a treatment program run by professionals who reported to the court so that the judges were involved in the treatment and supervision as well. They're accountability courts. People refer to them as treatment courts, but in the end, we're holding these offenders accountable to their commitment to seek recovery and break that cycle of crime, jail, crime, jail.
Okay. Judge, how long has this program been available in Fulton County?
Well, the current formation of the deep drug court that I described has been around for about a decade. Prior to that, there was a diversionary program where for a small fee and going to a few classes, you could have your problem addressed, and I put that in air quotes. But the richness of the drug court program we enjoy today has been in existence for about a decade, when offenders get rigorous treatment, both clinically and professionally, with an aim to breaking this cycle of recidivism.
Okay, now how long is the program and what all is exactly involved for a participant?
So someone who is accepted into felony drug court, it's going to be at a minimum an 18-month tour of duty. Now, these people are not in custody. They are living in society, but for many, many, many weeks, they are coming 5 days a week for most of the day to Hope Hall, where we host drug court. To graduate from drug court, you have to have had at least 180 days, 6 months, drug and alcohol-free, consecutive days. You need to be gainfully employed or a full-time student if you are employable or able to enroll. We have some participants who are disabled in one way or another, and so sometimes that requirement is waived. There's a fee. People don't pay their way fully. It's an expensive program for good reason, but everyone needs to pay over the course of the program a $750 fee. And then anyone who hopes to graduate needs to meet all of the many, we'll call them the academic and clinical requirements, complete all sorts of programs with their clinicians and their case managers.
Judge McBurney, after completing the course, what happens to their record? Does anything specifically happen?
The answer is it depends. Some people are admitted into drug court in what we call track 1, and the technical term doesn't matter, but someone in that track is asking to get into drug court with the aim that if he or she successfully completes and graduates, the state will dismiss the charges. There'll be no conviction on that person's record. Those are typically younger participants, and we don't see as many. The vast majority of participants in drug court have pled guilty to what is typically their 3rd, 4th, 10th case and are finally getting help. When they graduate from drug court, the hope is that they are clean and sober and ready to lead a productive life, but it has no effect on their criminal history. They've already pled guilty to the charges that got them into drug court.
Okay, now the graduation ceremony is held 4 times a year, I understand. Talk to us a little bit about what that means for those who make it, and talk to us about that medal that they're presented once they've graduated.
Graduation is naturally and appropriately the capstone to a client's participation in drug court. They are very moving ceremonies. I wish we could have them more than quarterly, but the reality is, given how long it takes to get through drug court, we want to have a critical mass. You don't want to have a graduation for just one client. But they are very, very moving moments. It is when the client acknowledges to all who are assembled, everyone who is actively in drug court, many alumni, and then of course friends and family members are there. And it is often a time when a graduate is reunited with a family member who had become distant because of the addiction. We celebrate the success. The medal is meant to be a memento that will physically carry forward, but it is a chance for these graduates to affirm in front of everyone their ongoing commitment, that they've finished the program and they can fly on their own. They won't be supervised by the court or by their clinicians or their case managers, but they're ready to rejoin society, to work, to study, to be a mom, a dad, a son, whatever it is. I encourage anyone who has the chance to come to one of these graduations. They are indeed moving.
Judge, tell us a little bit about the staff and the people who are helping these persons graduate.
It's the bread and butter of our program. Fulton County's drug court is the only drug court in the state of Georgia that is entirely in-house. We don't contract out for the urinalysis, for the clinicians. These are trained professionals to deal with addictive behavior, et cetera. The case managers, these are all Fulton County employees, so that if we have an issue that needs to come to court, I can have in court the client, her clinician, her case manager, and we can discuss the situation with everyone at the table, everyone with the same commitment. There's not a profit motive here. Everyone is on the same team. And it's because of the hard work and commitment of our clinicians, our case managers, their supervisors, the entire drug court team, that we are able to enjoy these graduations with as many graduates as we have.
Well, Judge McBurney, thank you so much for joining us today on Fulton at Work. And when we come back, you'll hear firsthand the kind of positive impact this program has. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton at Work. I'm Jolene Butts Freeman. In our last segment, we talked about how the Felony Adult Drug Court program works. Now you'll get to hear firsthand experience from someone who successfully completed the program. Please welcome to the show Mr. Jamil Jackson.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, sir. So, Jamil, had you heard about this program prior to your conviction?
No, I did not. Actually just heard about it once I got into jail.
Okay. What exactly went through your mind when you were given the option to participate in this program?
At first, I was susceptible to taking the program because of what it all entailed as far as psychological therapy and obviously pertaining to having to stay clean, and that's not what I wanted to do. I knew that probation was a different option, and that I can do more of what I wanted to do when I was on probation. So I was honestly thinking about taking the felony and just doing probation so I can just continue being an addict that I was.
Wow. Talk to us a little bit about your experience with the program.
My experience that I had, it flowed pretty well. I didn't really have too much problem. Once I found out the rules of the program, I knew what I had to do.
Talk to us about the staff that was helping you throughout your process in the program.
Staff was great. Everybody seemed like they genuinely cared about everybody. They didn't really put up with any slack. As long as you did what you were supposed to do and followed the rules, they didn't really give you too much hassle. Everybody seems that it's difficult, but I mean, you only make it difficult. You only make it as difficult as you make it. So.
Good. So after you successfully completed the program and they placed that medal around your neck, how did you feel and what were your thoughts?
It was just a sigh of relief. I actually accomplished something that I looked out to accomplish. Now I can move on in my life and set bigger goals and do more things for my life to come.
Jamil, you mentioned earlier about the doubts in participating in the program. Can you tell us, what would you tell those people who have doubts themselves about participating in this program?
If you have doubts, then you're probably not gonna do as well as you think you're gonna do. You definitely got to be confident that you're gonna finish, and just as long as you follow the rules and do what you're supposed to do. I know life gets in the way sometimes, but you just gotta prepare yourself for those kind of challenges and make sure that you can take on them once they come around.
All right, Jamil, thank you so much for joining us today on our program. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this short break.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us at Fulton at Work, and special thanks to our guests today. We want you to connect with us. Join us online. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Jolene Butts Freeman. We'll see you next time.